Welcome. In this video, we're going to show how to export article citations from the symplectic elements system. I'm going to start out in the research faculty directory, where there's a link to symplectic elements, which is a system that's used to collect publication data. I'm going to click there. You can also go to profiles.scholars.virginia.edu. You'll probably be requested to net badge in, but I've already logged in, so I go straight into symplectic elements and my homepage. From elements, up here in the upper left, there's a menu button, and here's where we can do some reporting. We're going to click on reporting and then choose these basic reports. This will allow us to export data that's been collected in symplectic elements. It's important that you review if your data is up to date. Have you or your faculty been actively claiming or rejecting publications? That doesn't happen automatically. So when you're ready to do a report, you want to make sure that that's happened. If you need more information on that, you can check the help guide or our videos. For the reports, you can either do that for an individual user or several users, or you can do that for a group. You may only see the groups that you're affiliated with when you log in. I'm going to do a brief report for the whole School of Medicine, so I'll make that selection here, but you can see, again, other departments, which you may only see the ones you're affiliated with and not this longer list. Here's where I want to select the dates or which publications I want to export. Since I'm working with the whole school, I'm going to make this a fairly brief list. So I'm just going to start with September publications and end up on today's date. This is an important consideration whether you want to include non-current users or not. In other words, faculty who have left the institution. And I do want to see those. Maybe nobody's left very recently, but I want to include those because I do consider those belonging to UVA. Finally, section 3 has a lot of information here, but we're going to step through it. We're actually typically going to do a data extract here in section 3.1. Here's where we indicate what we want to come out. And so we're exporting publications, but which type? Symplectic Elements typically collects journal articles. You'll see these other types, but we really don't use it to collect these. So you want to select journal article here. Otherwise, you may get a few meeting abstracts mixed in, and the system doesn't consistently collect those. So you want to select journal article. For now, let's ask it to return publications. Here's the button you want to use when you're in this section 3.1 is to get data extract. This will export a CSV file, which is a file that will open in Excel. So I'm going to click that down here in Chrome is where I can see that it's downloaded for me. And it will open the results of that search. So I have a spreadsheet now, and if I scroll down, I see about 232 records. In other words, these are citations from School of Medicine faculty. There's only one citation here, even if there's multiple faculty affiliated with a paper. So this is a unique list. You'll see also that it's a fairly complicated list. There are a lot of columns to this export, which doesn't make it very user-friendly to use. So what I usually do is to look for the PubMed ID in this export. That's going to be here on your column BL as a proprietary ID. Most of those are going to come from PubMed, as we see here, but there will be a few other sources. What I'm going to do is sort this by source, and I'm going to select out only those records with PubMed IDs. In most cases, that's going to be nearly all your records. So I'm going to stop here. There's some coming from the Web of Science database as well. But I'm going to copy those out. And I'm going to go back to my browser. And I'm going to go to PubMed. And I can do that through the library's homepage. hsl.virginia.edu, and select PubMed. Here I'm going to paste in those PubMed IDs that I copied and search. I should get about the 200 some that we copied out, and that looks like almost exactly a match to what I copied out of Symplectic Elements export, the Excel spreadsheet that was exported. From here, I have some good options to save. I can save all my results. I'm going to change that to all results, and I can go back into a spreadsheet, for example. So I'm going to do that. I'll show you another way you can save, and that's again, all results out to a summary file. First, I'll open the summary file, pull that over here, and that's just a list that would be appropriate to copy and paste into Word, for example. I'm also going to click in the bottom left here on that CSV file that was exported from PubMed, and we'll see that it's a much cleaner record than what came out of Symplectic Elements. I've got title, authors, citation, first authors, and so forth. So this is almost completely matching what I exported, though if I wanted to make this comprehensive, I would go back to my Elements export, and I would check on these records that came from Web of Science. These are legitimate articles. I can see here the titles, for example. And so I would want to copy and make sure I got that data into my CSV file as well, so that I'm being comprehensive. Let's go back to Symplectic Elements and show you one more option for reporting. Here is where I returned publications, but I could also return publications by linked user. Let's select that and click Get Data Extract again. In this case, I'm going to get duplicate entries when more than one UVA faculty member has authored a paper. So we'll get names with this export, and we should get more than our original retrieval. And we'll see we went from 200 some to 300 some, because there's going to be papers in here that share authors. I can then use this list like I did before. There's a PubMed ID column. Again, proprietary ID. But if I copy this back into PubMed, it's going to come back only with unique records. I can use tools in Excel like XLOOKUP or VLOOKUP to merge the PubMed export into this to get full citation information for each author. If you need assistance doing that, please contact us from back on the Research Faculty Directory page, and we can show you how to do that. So hopefully this helps showing you how you can export data from Symplectic Elements once all your faculty publications have been claimed and are up to date, so you can use that either in Excel or in Word for a list of publications for your department.